Andrew W.K broke out in the 2000s with his album I Get Wet. It was a rock album that actually I've never heard, but I've heard Party Hard, the single Party Hard, because obviously you've got to have heard that song. It's a fucking banger. It was one of those songs that just like played constantly on Kerrang TV. Like, they fucking love that song. Like, I don't think I ever heard any other song on there by him. It was just that song, and same with like the Kerrang radio station too. They'd only ever play that song. And back in my teen days, I enjoyed that song, and even to this day I still think it bangs pretty hard. But I've not heard anything else by the guy. I just went into this new album because NPR put it as like a first listen on their website, and generally I check out the first listens because some of them are pretty good, and I was like, Andrew W.K's back? So I was like, alright. And I don't really know what I expected, honestly. But he's still pushing forward this party attitude, I guess. Many years after that song, he's keeping the meme alive. The first track on this album is The Power of Partying. Then we have The Party Mindset. And also The Party Never Dies, which those last two tracks I mentioned come later in the album. But it's just like, the guy is just all for this party attitude, isn't he? And he brings some pretty epic instrumentation to come along with it. It's not like these are pretty dull, bland rock songs that don't have any sort of gumption to them. They're pretty hard going. It's just the choices he makes with his production I'm not entirely sure work too well. This could be like a Black Veil Brides album, honestly. Like, the symphonic elements, the over-the-top like stadium arena rock, like what, with the drums crashing down, boom, 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 boom. Some crazy orchestral arrangements in the background on some tracks as well. He is just going all out there, man, and I kind of appreciate it. Like, this is a weird album for me because everything that's going on, it sounds just ridiculous and cringeworthy at points, especially with some of his lyrics on the opening track. Not the opening track, the first song on the album, because the opening track isn't a song. But he's going all out there. He's just doing it, man. He doesn't care if he sounds like some bad Bring Me the Horizon song. He's just going for it. But those cringy lyrics I mentioned come on the track Music Is Worth Living For. I mean, yeah, I appreciate the sentiment. I mean, he's not wrong there, but it's just like, music is worth living for. Music makes me feel so high. It's just lyrics like that, like, you just make you think, like, did a teenager write this? Like, you know, like when I was a teenager, when I suddenly started really getting into music, I started saying things like that and thinking things like that in my head. I was like, oh man, music has defined me, you know? Music is everything to me now. It's oh. Like that 30 Seconds to Mars video where, you know, they go around interviewing all the fans and they're like, I would die for this band. Music gives me life. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, just shut up, alright? You self-centered arse. And that's kind of that song, really. But I don't know. I feel like, in a way, he sometimes sells it. Just because, like, he's all out there passionately going for it. He just wants to just put everything into it. He's putting everything into it as well. But it just sounds bad. I kind of feel bad for giving this a bad review, but, like, you know, I guess as passionate as you can be, sometimes it doesn't always lead to great things. You know, I think a lot of music can do that sometimes, because I know a lot of critics will rip apart albums, but at the end of the day, the artist involved always puts everything they've got into the music they make. And I think this is one of those albums, but it's just kind of like the way the music sounds, you know? I think the mixing as well is pretty bad on this album. I mean, on the track like I Don't Know Anything, he's just like really like the instrumental sounds like it's rushing. Like, everything just sounds really fast paced, but it's not like throttling in a like pulsating way. It just sounds like really messy, and the way he's singing over it is like ra 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 la la la. It's just really awkward, you know. So yeah, it's very theatrical. His voice is just so... I don't know how to describe it, but if anyone has seen the film Forgetting Sarah Marshall, right, and Jason Segel's character, where he just like, he's doing that performance and he's on stage with like the Muppets or whatever it is, and he's like, oh, oh, oh. Kind of reminds me of that point, honestly, which it may be an insult to the guy, but yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't think Andrew W.K is really appealing to that many young people anymore. But hey, if you like that sort of epic meatloaf rock type stuff in 2018, mind you, then go listen to this album. You're not alone. But for me, it's bad, but it's the kind of bad that doesn't offend me. Like, it was kind of funny listening to some of these songs, and they're sort of like, so bad it's good. But at the end of the day, it is kind of a bad album, so I'm gonna have to give it an E. But yeah, not terrible. It would be an F, but it's still pretty bad. So an E seems fair for me. But yeah, let me know your thoughts if you've heard this album, and if you've heard any of his previous stuff, and if it's worth checking out. By the way, because like I said, I've not heard any of his more acclaimed albums from the 2000s. But if they're worth trying, let me know, and subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Yeah, and have a good day.